Arthur is depressed. He's imprisoned and being medicated by the state. His guard buddies just want to hear a joke. But he's partially mute, almost catatonic. What's the point of living, really? And then she comes into his life, singing, bringing light into his very dark world. Just to clarify, I didn't like the first one. At about the 30-minute mark, I quit watching, thinking it was a bad 70s Scorsese ripoff. I haven't watched Joker since, so for this analysis, I'm only taking Folie Deux into consideration. And sure, this film has issues. Todd Phillips does a lot of borrowing, mostly from the modern film ad campaign, where they put a Clint Mansell-esque score under a classic pop song. That little gang. Just mix it up a little, gang. Just a little. But there are occasionally moments where it's like, oh, Todd is having an original thought. Here, Arthur's trying on a bunch of faces, and this is the saddest sex scene of all time ever. More of this, please. But a lot of the film feels like Todd choosing a genre to push his work into, rather than doing the work and figuring out where it fits later. Like, go where the work takes you, bro. So, according to Jenny, the first one just loved to explain the plot to you. This one also does that. We get an explanation of how musicals work.
You see, we use music in this class to make us whole, to balance the conflicting forces, the fractures within ourselves.
No, it wasn't clear that the guards killed the kid. I need explicit confirmation of that.
He's gone.
And in case you missed it, we have a whole courtroom drama to remind you of Arthur's sins in episode 1. Also, the racial politics of this film are kind of weird. You have the classic black women in authority positions but no personalities or bearing on the plot trope. A society in which integration in public spaces is cool, despite the time period being somewhere in the nebulous recent past, and a prison population that is actually representative of the outside world, not disproportionate like how it is in our reality. Not saying we need a B-plot about institutional racism, like in this film, ew, but you're telling me that in a world where bullying people with dwarfism and mental illness is totally cool, racism just isn't a thing? This isn't a rom-com or a liberal fantasy series where racial equities are mostly sorted out. This is a miserablest musical. I feel like there are small ways of addressing it without it taking over the film. But yeah, if you can get past that shit, you get the tale of a man who wants to share his story, who wants to authentically be himself and connect with people on a real level. Alas, the world just wants him to be who they want him to be. Lee wants him to be Joker, his lawyer wants him to be a victim, the media wants him to be some sensationalist psycho, some of the people want him to be a hero, and the prison guards just want him to be a punching bag. The poster for Folie Deux is selling you on the Joker-Harley pairing, when really it's the Arthur-Joker pairing that's thematically relevant. The opening cartoon shows Arthur putting on the Joker makeup, but the Joker becomes his own being and runs away with the show, leaving Arthur to be beaten and humiliated, worse off than when he started. All of Arthur's songs about longing feature him in prison, a powerless man. All of the songs with flights of fancy are with Lee and Joker. Joker gets to enjoy life. Most of the film is Arthur just trying to be himself, but being himself brings only pain and darkness. It's when he dons the Joker persona that Arthur gets positive reinforcement from Lee, and to some extent, some of the people. Being Arthur is being a victim, is being abused, is being without control. Being Joker gets you a girlfriend, a supportive crowd, not control necessarily, but at least the ability to fight back. Arthur hides behind the Joker persona anytime shit gets too real, or at least he tries to.
A 7-year-old boy told them about the physical and sexual abuse he suffered.
He's able to hide behind Joker at court and spend time with Lee in her preferred persona, but Arthur's real life is in prison. The guards constantly mock him, asking him for a joke, and after Joker talks shit about them in court, they literally strip Arthur of the Joker identity and take him back down to Arthur's level of being victimized and abused, of being powerless. Lee and Arthur's lawyer duke it out for his soul. The lawyer only sees Arthur as a victim and someone with severe mental health issues. Lee is only interested in the Joker persona. Both of them ignore his identity. It's Gary Puddles who truly sees Arthur for who he is. Gary likes Arthur. He doesn't pity him or want to cultivate him into someone else. Gary also fears Joker because Joker makes him feel afraid and powerless. He calls Arthur out on his bullshit, but leaves space for the guy's humanity, which eventually leads Arthur to own up to his crimes. Arthur is also a narcissist, like a sad narcissist. He solely relies on outside influence to tell him who he is, to tell him how to behave. He's literally a shell of a person until Lee comes along. She manipulates him so easily because he has little to no internal self-worth. When it comes to identity, Lee constantly refers to Arthur as Joker, while Arthur refers to Harley as Lee. Arthur respects Lee's identity, even after she lies to him. Lee is only ever interested in the fantasy of Joker. Arthur has thoughts of suicidal ideation. Lee really is the only thing keeping him going at this point.
I can't live without you.
Anytime something terrible happens, he retreats into fantasy. Once Lee rejects him, he kinda just lays down to die. The ending of this film is brutal, but it is the correct answer. Every time Arthur tries to hide behind Joker, shit gets worse for him. Even in the fantasy sequences, Harley eventually shoots Joker down. She doesn't literally kill him, but her betrayal takes away his reason for living. It's very fitting in this nasty world that after Arthur rejects Joker by taking responsibility for his crimes, that a reincarnation of his former persona comes to kill him. So the singing. Get over yourself. This is what these characters would sound like if they were singing. Not everything needs to be pretty. If Anne Hathaway can get an Oscar for this bullshit, other people are allowed to make artistic decisions about how their tired, frail characters in this nasty, horrible world would sing. The singing in this film is great. Fight me. Folie Deux contains its fair share of musical tropes. It features desperate characters clinging to a fantasy. It does a meta thing about musicals, in this case the characters watch the bandwagon. It also features happy songs in miserable places, and its use here really ratchets up the disparity between Arthur's two disparate realities. If it had original songs and fixed some of the tell don't show stuff, I'd put it next to Cabaret for its miserablest humanist perspective. I also really like this version of Harley. She's a privileged emo chick who likes to sow chaos and participate in gutter tourism. In modern iterations, her story has been about reclaiming her personhood after escaping an abusive relationship with the Joker. This Harley is a manipulative cunt who just kinda creates chaos when she's bored. Perfect characterization. No notes. Anyway, feel free to drag me through the comments. Bye.